What's happening, guys? Cap over here, and welcome to our week 6 battle in the SBN as we're taking on Brick, coach of the LA Leafeons. And I do apologize if my voice sounds deeper or a bit, stuffy. I do have a cold, I'm feeling a bit under the weather, and that's why I didn't do a live comp for this one, just because I was sniffling so much. It was bad. It's bad. I'm still pretty bad, but I can sort of control the sniffles. I can control those sniffles. It's like dinner. Lovely picture right there. So with that, I'm gonna go into the intro, I guess. Alright, so what Break is bringing today is Latios, Clefable, Gallade, Extriel, Nihilgo, and Mega Absol. This is totally not the medicine kicking in. Totally not the medicine. But anywho, I do have the Scizor, Gligar. We switched out. Oh yeah, I should talk a bit about that. So I switched out Seismitoad for Gligar, just because it makes more sense for me. I do get a Defogger, I get a U-Turner, I get so many options for this Pokemon. Plus, I didn't really have a good Earthquake switch in, so Gligar sort of provides that for me, and it's a great mon. It's a solid mon. I'm really excited to use it. And we did switch out Lycanroc for Keldeo because why not? Like, you can pick up a pony for a dog, like, or a unicorn. You can pick up a unicorn for a dog. That is fantastic. That's a good trade right there. Unicorns are pretty rare from what I last heard. But yeah, Keldeo just provides some awesome firepower that I really want. I love using Keldeo. Keldeo's so good. Keldeo that, Keldeo does this. But anywho, the team I brought in today is Scizor, Choice Banded Scizor, because it does so much damage to his team. It is unbelievable. Bullet Punch pretty much KOs all his offensive threats. Gligar stops Extriel no matter what it wants to do. Extriel just pretty much snuffs it away. I brought in Taunt, U-Turn, and Earthquake and Roost because I figured, you know what? Most likely this Clefable would want to set up on Gligar, and if that's the case, I do have something for him in my back pocket, my deep back pocket, and that is Taunt. So hopefully I can make that work. And I have brought in the Keldeo with the Choice Specs because Choice Specs Keldeo does so much goodness to this team. It is unbelievable. Choice Band or Choice Spec Hydro Pump. Not a lot of switch-ins. Like Latios is not really a switch-in, Clefable's not a switch-in, and the other mons aren't really a switch-in, so that's going to put in some work. Zoroark, just because he does have the Latios. Latios is a frightening thing on my team because it does so much damage. It is bad, and a Sucker Punch pretty much one-hit KOs Latios. So yeah, I sort of kept that in mind when I was building this team. Zoroark is pretty big in this battle in terms of taking out mons and other fun stuff. It also has a U-Turn. It's a physical Zoroark, so that's pretty cool. I have the... This is where my two substitute users come in. So I do have the substitute Charizard X because I was like, you know what? If he brings in Smeargle, I'm substituting all over that. Pretty much we can call it GG after that because Flare Blitz, Dragon Claw, whew, damage. So much damage. And then I brought in substitute Calm Mind Florges because once again, it does not... If it's a Clefable versus Florges battle, I am willing to do that because that does a lot of damage. Like Calm Mind, oh, calm down Florges, because you're gonna go out of control over here. So let's get this battle on its way. And I don't know who I lead off with, so let's see. I do lead off with Pony, my Keldeo, because he doesn't have a switch in, and whoever he goes into, I was hoping he'd go into Nihilgo. I was hoping to go into that. I just click Scald, get some damage off of everything on his team because nothing really wants to take it. But he goes into Absol. However, he does not know if I'm Choice Scarfed or Choice Spect. So I was sort of playing on that. I'm just going to switch out, make the nice A switch, go into Mod. And he goes into his Clefable. I'm like, sweet. So let's sub. Let's make this thing work. Turn 2. We got the things happening. Mod eats that up. Delicious. Moonblast, what is that? Delicious. Please, can I have some more? So I can start setting up my Calm Minds over here. Really cool set. This is something that I really wanted to try, and then I put it on Charizard, and you know what? It's cool. So Mod is going to be taking absolutely no damage. Houdini is astonished by that. Look at that. Houdini, come on. Calm down. Calm down, Houdini. But anywho, so he switches out into his X-Drill over here. I just go for a sub. Houdini, can you calm down? Can you please calm down? I'm gonna close the door. I'm gonna close the door. Sorry about that. Houdini once more. It's just he's done relentless force in this Toronto SwaBlu Jays. He's the #1 fan, I guess. But anywho, Excadrill's in. I can just go for a Moonblast, see what sort of thing this is, and he just goes for Iron Head, which isn't a big problem for me. I get a crit over here, and get the special attack drop. You know, that sort of salt in the wound, doubles. But the crit was pretty. It wasn't big in terms of like Keldeo can come in. I also know this thing. It is Life Orbed, I do believe. So that means, is it Life Orb? I don't know. I'm not sure. I forgot. I gotta look. But he does switch up his attack, so that tells me he is not Choice Scarf, which means Keldeo can come in and revenge this thing whenever I want. Well, it's a nice rhythm. It's a nice rhythm. So now I can just go for the U-turn over here. He is not staying in. Because my Pokemon just does so much damage to Drill. Drill does absolutely nothing. He did, he went for the Stealth Mark, so Drill is just too good in this situation. So he ends up going to Lily, the whatever this thing's called. So I knock off its air balloon because I went for U-turn because I thought he was going to go into Clefable or Latios. This just gives me priority for in terms of matchup. He already set up his rock, so Drill doesn't really have any other options. If he wants to go for damage, then that's a ballsy play on his part, but I also get Brownie in for free. Pony. And now I can just go for Hydro Pump or Scald. Nothing is a solid switch in. So I'm clicking Hydro Pump, land the Hydro Pump. That does 65%. That is not a switch in, friend. That is not a switch in. Now I can just go for another Hydro Pump, 47%. That is the power of a Choice Spec Keldeo. Of course I can't stay in because, you know, life is pretty sweet like that. So I'm just gonna go right into Mod. If he goes for Psyshock, then that does a lot of damage. And I don't really have a solid check in terms of Latios. So it is Life Orb, which is relatively nice, but it's in range where my Choice Bandit Scissor can come in and finish it off. So I'm like, alright, we can sack off Maw. No point of sacking off Zoroark because Zoroark is too good in this. So I'm just going to go into he doesn't really have a good switch in terms of anything. If he had gone into like, if I'd gone into Zoroark, I have to go for Sucker Punch, free switch into something. If I go into Scizor, Bullet Punch does a lot of damage on anything. It just puts a lot of pressure on him because I think a lot of things are 2-hit KO range at this point. Or they're in range where they're going to get KO'd. For example, if this thing came in, it's a 2-hit KO and blah blah blah. So I'm like, alright, I'm just switching into my hard dedicated switch into Excadrill. Iron Head does 21%. Yummy. And he could flinch me to death over here. He really could flinch me to death. Thankfully he doesn't. I get the roost off. And we're looking pretty solid over here. So I get the matchup that I want. And this is where my taunt is going to come clutch. Because this Clefable cannot wish after that. It cannot do its shenanigans. It cannot do its shindigs. The things that I do not like. So I can just go for Earthquake at this point. Earthquake is free damage on anything. And I'm just going to keep on clicking Earthquake over here because Earthquake does so much damage. He doesn't have any way to heal up. So he brings out Absol, which means I'm clicking U-turn. U-turn is my play to make because, well, because it's good. It's good at this point. If he calms mine or attacks me, I still live it. If he has Ice Beam, then that's awesome on his part. That's awesome prep. Because this Pokemon doesn't really do much at this point. If I go for U-turn, I get damage off this thing. I can bring in Scizor. Whatever he does, I can start retaliate and get a lot of damage off. So he ends up going for the Calm Mind, which is frightening at the start, but I do end up getting a crit. Doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but it's just salty. It's really salty. It's unfair of RNG to do that, which means I can just go right into Scizor and go for another BP over here. A Choice Bandit Technician Bullet Punch. Doing some fine work. Picked up another KO. And I'm just going to switch into my Gligar over here because Gligar is just good in this sense right now. It is doing a lot of damage. And I can click the Roost as he ends up clicking Knock Off. Some clean damage. Knocks off my Eviolite. And I'm like, oh boy. Gligar doesn't really do a lot over here. And I can just go right into El Capitan, my Charizard. And he doesn't have much of a switch in terms of anything. Flare Blitz is going to take down everything, and El Capitan can pick up a K over here. So at this point, I'm like, I do not want this thing to pick up boosts. It is frightening because it could, if it's Choice Scarf, or if it's not Choice Scarf, it could pick up some speed boost and it could look pretty bad for me, pretty bleak, or it could make my life a bit harder. So I'm like, alright, Gligar is the only one that can really take a hit. Ends up taking out the Power Gem relatively well, but goes down to the burn, which means this thing doesn't pick up the boost. So that's really good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So now I can just click Scald, and it's pretty much GG at this point because Choice Specs Scald does so much damage. It outspeeds everything. And we end up picking up our 6th win in a row. We're looking pretty good for the playoffs. My throat hurts a lot. GG to Brick once more. And yeah, those crits suck because it was bad. It was really bad. But as you can tell, I'm really happy about the pickups that we did. Gligar and Keldeo really came through in this battle. Keldeo picked up like 2 or 3 KOs over here. Put a lot of pressure on his team in terms of Clefable taking 65 and Latios taking so much damage. So it did what it was meant to do, which was put on a lot of pressure on his team, make sure that his switch-ins got punished. And yeah, so lastly, we also made another transaction. We ended up getting rid of Virizion because Virizion, well, it didn't really do that much for Say. Like, it had a lot of weaknesses. It brought another fairy weakness to this team, and I was like, well, we don't really need it anymore because we do have Gligar over here, and we do have Keldeo, and there's just other things that do its job a lot better. So I'm like, alright, we can get rid of Keldeo, or not Keldeo, Virizion, and we end up picking up Venusaur over here because Venusaur just provides some great support, a resistance to fighting, a resistance to fairy, and it just fits the team so well. It's neutral to Earthquake, so that's always nice to note, especially with all my things floating, so that's always good to know. And yeah, so next week we're going to be going against the Zelwood Zoruas. We're going to be doing our conference battles once more again, our in-division games, and I'm pretty hyped for that, so be sure to check out for those battles as we're going into Game 2 of the rain. The dreadful rain, something that I do not want to get stuck in because I do have a cold. But anywho, thank you so much for watching. This has been quite the capning. We're still gonna go with that, the capning. Thank you so much for the capning. The capning is happening. Sort of rhymes, doesn't it? But anywho, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna get going. And like I said before, this has been quite the capning. Bye.